Hello to all members of the PrimeNet. Prime UI libraries share this library called Prime Icons for the icons. The components have many icons, the built-in ones, and plus the Prime Icons provide you close to 200 icons to choose from to use in the rest of your application. This year's focus on Prime at Prime Tech is making everything customizable so that the idea is that components should feel like you have developed them, not us. So the first part is that now the showcase and documentation demos are up and running. We have started to focus on the customization feature. It starts with the icons. So the first thing is that instead of Prime icons, you should be able to use any icon set that you have. It could be some third party, or if you have your own icon set in your organization, that you should be able to use it, or even simple images. Okay, so there are two major changes that I'm pretty sure you will like. So let's start how we are going to tackle it. So Prime icons are there. It will be, it will continue to be developed and maintained for sure, but it is now optional. So remember that Prime icons is primarily used as a font icon library, so that you have to include a CSS file. It may be, if you have used the font icon library, it's similar to Font Awesome. So you you import the Prime icon CSS. It's basically a font file, and you refer to the icons like pi-check or something. Now we are using the SVG versions to replace the font icon versions. Internally, the libraries will use the SVG version, so that practically this means Prime icon CSS will be obsolete. Okay, so you no longer need to import Prime icon CSS. That will save you some bandwidth, although it was not really a big file. But we were kind of a bit hesitant to develop more icons because the WoW file size will grow, so that now it's fully optimized. You only import what you need because every icon is now standalone. And basically, you don't need to do anything. You just need to include Prime, React, Vue, Faces, and that's it. So let's start with Prime Faces. In the Prime Faces version, there will be the facets that refers to the icon name. And here you can embed any templating. For example, this one's using material icon that I'll be using in the rest of this example. In the Prime View version, we are creating slots for every icon so that you can just refer to them using templates. And in the React version, a simple JSX should do it. For example, in React is kind of flexible here. The close icon could be, there's no separate templating here. The close icon can be something like a string to refer to a font file like pi-check. That means everything will be backward compatible, which is a nice thing in all of this in the story. And of course, it supports JSX so that you can use templating here as well. And finally, in the Prime NG version, similar to the Vue, there's a templating section with ng-template, and the p template refers to the name, and then you can provide your own. So I'll be using the Prime Rack for the demos. So here I have a panel. You see that toggleable panel has built-in minus and plus icons for expanding and collapsing. And I have here two SVG files that could be assume that there's a third party or some SVGs that you like, arrow down and arrow up. So for example, here, what I can do here is that I can use expand icon. And here I can, for example, if you are using Prime icons here, it could be pi arrow down. You see that there's now the Prime icon, the font icon, this is the one, so which requires you to include Prime icon CSS. But what if you like to just use JSX here with an image tag? Arrow down, SVG. Okay. Unterminate string, I think that's one. Okay, and let's also change collapse icon as well. Up. Okay, now these are my SVGs, and this gives me the flexibility to use any SVG, any image that you would like to use. Also, you know, there, for example, you're using the third-party, let's say, material icons. So, for example, for the sake of simplicity, I will just use this. Material icons also use font icons. So let's add this one as well. Include the fonts. And let's see how it is used. Here, there's a spankless material icons face, for example. Let's change this one only. So collapse icon templating could be easily this one. Let's change it. Okay, now see that the material icon here, this one is the prime icon. So the long story short, this change will apply to every component, like drop downs, data table paginator, and it will be fully backward compatible. That's another thing. And the third thing is you no longer need to include prime icon CSS, because we are also switching to SVGs. We are also using internal SVGs instead of font icons in our library, so that, for example, if you're just using a drop-down from Prime React, let's say, you no longer need to include Prime icon CSS, because the drop-down icon or the close icon, it will be integrated as an SVG, fully optimized. And overall, I think it's a good start to the customization features of the Prime libraries. And it will give you more control. And the upcoming major feature is this pass-through attributes, which will give you full control over the attributes in the component internals, so that we are exposing component internals like these sections in the panel, headers, content, icons, so that you can style them with, let's say, Tailwind. You can even drop Prime React styling, Prime Image styling, styling, face styling, and then it will just, you can easily hook in your own styling as well. That's also coming up. Some work has been done, and we will release it with Prime View by next week. Okay, thank you for joining me. See you on the next pass-through attributes video on the upcoming, after the upcoming version. See you later.